Producer, by the way, or producer BTW on the Twitter machine. Welcome to another episode of Cafe BTW, morning gaming podcast. We've been going at this for a while now. I did take a little hiatus, but it's been a really fun ride. Good morning, Astral, as well. And good morning, Mr. Flight. How are you? Good to see you guys. Hope you all got some coffee because that's what this show's about. On the pre-show, I was talking about how a friend asked me to move the start of this show to 9 a.m. And I'm like, I'm not here to appease your sleep patterns. This is for a broad census of wonderful people out there that like retro games. So I'm not here to appease my friends, which is really funny. But I do invite you guys. I love you guys. So yeah, we got some. So obviously the main topic today is the Sega Saturn, and I didn't put like the history of the Sega Saturn. It's really going to be an episode about my, I guess, relationship with the Sega Saturn, my love of it. I don't know. I have some like really old childhood memories of the Sega Saturn, especially with my father, which is kind of ties into something that I wanted to talk about at the top of the show. So thanks everyone for coming. Really appreciate it. So obviously, this week, I am the gaming community director for Stand Up to Cancer as a living and what I do every day, and I love it, and it means the world to me. So I am fundraising right now as well. On the podcast, if you see down below, there's a photo of my father who passed away in October, and he passed away from something called the anaplastic thyroid cancer. So I'm joining the stream team, of course. It's running, this whole month. It's where a collaborative effort of streamers and content creators and gamers get together and raise money for Stand Up to Cancer and cancer research so that maybe people don't have to go through what my dad went through in the future, right? So I know it's tough times. I'm not expecting much, but if you'd like to donate, you could click the link in my profile down below. There's one that has like a Stand Up to Cancer logo too that will send you out to my dad, whose name is Henry. So my campaign is called Henry. He was a really great guy. Made me really proud to I don't know, just to try to like thrive, to be successful in life. And he always like was supportive of me, even if he didn't believe in everything I did. So this fundraising podcast, and we will be thanks, Mr. Flight. That's means a lot. Sorry if I'm getting emotional. It's still really hard to talk about him, but I'm not afraid to share him to the world. So that's why I want to thank all the like strangers out there that like commented on besides my friends and acquaintances and stuff, like all these strangers who commented on these posts that said such wonderful things. Just want people to remember that the internet isn't all that bad, and there are like some values to the internet and what it could do to heal people instead of attacking people. In this case, I had so many messages that were just outstandingly affectionate towards me, and these people don't even know me. And it really shows you that the internet isn't all that bad if you really use it the right way, right? So that being said, I did want to say that. But I do have a campaign, so it's a Tiltify campaign. Henry, obviously, Stand Up to Cancer. We raise funds and accelerate the pace of groundbreaking traditional research, and I'm happy to say that we had 2 FDA approvals this year on clinical to help clinical trials and a drug, make it and get to a patient, so maybe we can have them live longer and whatnot. But my dad passed away from what I said earlier is anaplastic thyroid cancer, and the reason I want to pinpoint that is that it's only 2% of people ever receive it. It's one of the rarest of cancers, and unfortunately, my father had to go with that. But it makes me want to research that and understand it a lot more, and understand how important cancer research is. So, any dollar counts. If you want to donate, the link's below. I just wanted to upfront talk about that. I also, moving on to some funner things. If you all are as old as me, you might know Kevin Smith the wonderful director that made the 1994 film Clerks, Chasing Amy, Mallrats, all kinds of movies. Recently Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, or I don't remember what it was called. Oh no, Reboot. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. Oh man, this is Marta. What's up? Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you so much for following me. This is great. Great to see you. It's nice to be streaming and stuff. And I did want to let people know that Kevin Smith on his podcast Fat Man to Beyond tonight will be raising funds and joining the stream team and doing his podcast and raising awareness and fundraising for Stand Up to Cancer. So I am going to be really excited about that, because this guy motivated me into moving to California, because before I got into gaming and what I do now, I used to work in entertainment. I moved out here. I worked as an assistant in the entertainment industry. And, I'm from Jersey. This guy's from Jersey. This guy was emoting. Good morning, Carvette. Welcome. This guy was, a mentor to me in a way, because, I grew up in the 90s in New Jersey. This guy was the 90s in New Jersey, right? If you understand the history of Kevin Smith, this guy is from New Jersey, and a part of the reason that I wanted to move to LA and get out here. And I worked in the entertainment industry for quite some time. Obviously, gaming was also a passion of mine, and right now, obviously, that's my focus, and I love it. But yeah, I'll share it in our Stand Up to Cancer Discord, and I will share it in my Cafe BTW Discord tonight as well. Really excited about that, and to have just them talking. They're going to be nerding out about the Mandalorian episode and raising funds for Stand Up to Cancer, so you can't beat that. Now, another thing that's going on that I'm so excited about is the collaboration. I didn't love him till film school started. Well, that's cool. And what's up, Daniel? And shout out to It's Virtually a Podcast. Can I get a shout out to It's Virtually a Podcast? They have an awesome VR podcast where they are in VR and they podcast and do stuff. So check them out. I don't know if Genzo's in here. I don't know if we even have the ISO command, whatever. But yeah, there you go. I guess we do. Thanks, Genzo. But yeah. So, because I work with Stand Up to Cancer, we are collabing with Sega and Sega of Europe and, all over the place. It's actually pretty global, because we've had a bunch of their community and their streamers, this is Marta who's in here. And if she's still in here, she's part of their community. But 4 studios and 4 games and their communities are coming in with Sega's community to raise funds in the stream team, which is what we're doing right now and what I'm doing right now, streaming for the stream team. And it's been incredible. Just the amount of awesomeness. Yesterday, Sega was streaming, playing Aliens and Predator. I think, Marta, you were in there. It's been a really good collaboration. I will say this, that I am jumping in as the Stand Up to Cancer Twitch account, but there's so many streamers. I'm doing my best to jump in so that they know how much we appreciate them. So I just want to be able to say it personally on my own podcast with my own platform, that I am enjoying every second of everything that we're doing with Sega and stuff. So wanted to say, if people are interested, please check it out. A lot is happening besides, and I do want to shout out the regular su2c stream team has been incredible. Thanks, Marta. I appreciate that. It's a part of our culture. We always want to support our streamers as much as we can. And I'm a gamer. I like to watch Twitch, so I enjoy all the streams and watching the games and stuff. We really have had some really good moments, so that's the best part. I just want people to have fun. It's not always it's just about people always ask me when they're signing up their campaigns, how much should I put as a goal? I'm like, don't go crazy. Put something that's comfortable for yourself. You don't have to have expectations. It's all about awareness. It's all about every bit counts. Whether you raise $10 or $3 million, right? So there you go. Oh, thanks, Carvet. Are you from TikTok? Thanks. Yeah, I love my TikTok too. There are so many people going live for us in su2c, and you've been so supportive of everyone the best you can. I know it means a lot to everyone. Yeah, thanks, Marta. That really means a lot to me. Actually, the team at Sega did send an email, and they even told me like they really appreciate that. But I think that's important, or I try. But there's going to be a point where it gets bigger than me, and I'm hoping that like I could bring in and this gaming content creator side of Stand Up to Cancer will continue to grow, and the community has grown. We've come a long way in a year, so I'm really proud of that. So thanks everyone that's been a part of it. Genzo, $1 million. Dr. Evil Mouth Fingers. We really do, smashing it. Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, it's also great to be back doing my podcast. We've kind of been, I was in Florida for a while. We had to put a hiatus, and I know everyone that we took off last week for Thanksgiving. But we do have, in the month of January, I have some really cool guests coming on. One of the coolest guests is a Nerf historian, and he's a TikToker that does a lot of Nerf-focused content. So we're going to talk about Nerf, not only the history of Nerf guns and stuff like that. We're going to also dive into the video game and kind of Nerf meshing, because it's been as recent as the Nerf and Fortnite guns and stuff like that. So really excited to talk about Nerfed nostalgia, by the way. So there's going to be that. We're going to be bringing in someone to talk about video game music and audio and design and stuff like that. I am planning on getting this person that builds arcade machines. She is amazing, and she collects old arcade machines, and I would love her to come on and talk about that as well. So in January is when we're going to have a little bit more heavy combination of interviews and guests and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. So stay tuned for that. But all right, enough of me blabbing off about everything. I'm really excited about all the things that are happening this week. But let's get into the topic at hand. And that is my favorite console of all time, the Sega Saturn. And of course, I'm picking a Sega topic for a good reason. It's Sega Week for Stand Up Cancer community, so I might as well talk about it. Something I love, a part of the Sega history and nostalgia of Sega. So I'm just going to read the blurb from the Wikipedia for Sega Saturn. And this is what the Wikipedia says. The Sega Saturn is a home video game console developed by Sega and released on November 22nd, 1994 in Japan, May 11th, 1995 in North America, and July 8th, 1995 in Europe. Part of the fifth generation, so the fifth generation of video game consoles. It was the successor to the Genesis, which we all know was a fantastic and just incredible system. And we all know in America in the 90s, it was such a big deal. It was killing Nintendo at the time, and it was just amazing. So obviously you're going to watch a million documentaries about the console wars and stuff. Maybe one day I'll dig into that a little bit more. But one thing about the Sega Saturn is I think that there's some cool facts about it. And I did find this really cool article called from racketboy.com. By the way, Marta, I love those emojis. It's Saturn Day. Yes, Astral, it is Saturn Day. And I did post a Shining Force 3 post on Twitter. So that's exciting because that game is amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have that game. But, what am I doing? I have the Saturn with me. I forgot to show you guys. So this is my Sega Saturn. If you see this thing right here, this is an action replay card. And what's really, really cool about the Saturn, right, is that if you get this action replay card, you put it in the back of the system, you put it in the back of the system, you can play any region on it. So Europe, Japan, and US, you can play them all on your Saturn. Yes, action replay. Original action replay cartridge, yes. So I can play any Japanese imports on here. I can play any of the PAL region. It's really, really, really cool. And yes, this is a love of my life because the Sega Saturn's awesome. Let's take a look at the controllers. So here is the clunky, I like to say the clunky and not really, in my opinion, the most lovable controller. I think they were trying too hard to make it a little bit different and stronger, but I wasn't a fan. But wait, there's more, right? There is more. Oh, don't you worry, Astral. There's more. So here's the American US controller, which I did not like. But I will show you this. One of the greatest controllers of all time, believe it or not, in my opinion, just in simplicity factors, is the Japanese controller that came out with the Sega Saturn in Japan. Look at this design, and it was so sleek and easy to hold. It felt more like the Genesis, like advanced controller that became not as much. Like look at this thing. And not only that, the aesthetics are beautiful and simple with a beautiful little gray gloss and the wonderful combination of the green, yellow, blue with the red start button and the gray top buttons. Really beautiful design in its own way. I mean, I must say, I am impressed with that. It's not a terrible anymore. So I'm going to read some facts and we're going to show you some more Saturn stuff because I do collect the Saturn, so that I was really excited for this episode. So after Sega's giant success with the Genesis Mega Drive, the company wanted to jump on the 30-bit generation and beat the newcomer Sony. So at the time, Sony was coming into the market. The Sega Saturn is the third home video console released in North America and sold between 1995 and 1998. So just to give you the time frame, it lasted between 1995 and 1998. So here's a couple of the issues. So Saturn ran into a number of issues leading up to its launch, such as betrayed fan base with the Sega CD and the 32X failures, which I will agree got a little bit crazy there at the end of the Genesis run. A surprise early launch date and a high price $400 value, which was probably the main problem with the Sega Saturn. To be pretty honest, it was very expensive. But really funny about this is that, and you're not going to be able to hear the audio, but so I grew up in North Jersey, and there was this store called The Wiz, and it was like a Best Buy back in the 90s. And this is Joe Namath, who was the quarterback for the New York Jets at the time, and he would do these commercials, and he would say, "Nobody beats The Wiz." So why am I bringing up Nobody Beats The Wiz? Well, let me tell you why. When I was a kid, I have been I was a lucky kid, right? My parents bought me video games. They didn't really play video games. They just bought me video games, right? And, let me let this play. And there came a time when the Sega Saturn came out, and I was really stoked for it. So my dad agreed to get me it for my birth. No, not for my birth. When it came out, I don't remember exactly what day of the month it was, but we did buy it on release. And I remember I still remember vividly in 1995. It was like 1995, right? I must have been, I don't know how old I was. I was definitely young. I was like 12 or 13, maybe older than that. But I remember standing by the counter, and my dad was standing by the counter, and then the guy's like, "That's $400, sir." And I remember my dad looking over at me really, really mad because I don't think I told him exactly how much it cost. So when he got to the register, he found out it was $400 because I think he was thinking it was like going to be like the Super NES, like it was going to be like a $200 system. He had no idea that it was going to be $400. And I remember he looked over at me, and this is why I'm connecting, my dad's to my Sega Saturn, because he bought me it. He bought me my Sega Saturn in 1995, and he was so pissed. He was just like totally pissed at me. So shout out to Nobody Beats The Wiz. That doesn't exist anymore. Shout out to, he's part of that story for sure. Definitely. So yeah, these commercials are really funny though. Was Joe Namath wearing a wig? I mean, that's the funny thing. Like, is that a wig? I mean, look at this. If anyone knows who Joe Namath is, he was the quarterback in the NFL in the 60s for the Jets. Your dad was the coolest, man. Thanks. He really was. Astral, thank you. Oh, I don't know why it froze. I'm sorry. My internet might be kind of laggy today. I apologize. My dad wouldn't have had me search for a different. My dad would have had me search for a different dream. Yeah, my dad was, believe it or not, pretty supportive with. Yeah, he was pretty supportive, which is cool. So moving on, I want to talk about the jewel case, which in the history of all video games is the worst case created for a video game car, So let's take a look at one of my games, right? The wonderful and awesome Sonic 3D Blast, okay? But here's what we're getting at. Look at the jewel case. See? These things were built terribly. Like, even out of the box, the screws would break. But here's the catch. The American run of the Sega Saturn collection is very valuable because in America, the Sega Saturn was a failure. It didn't, and I don't mean it in a technology or the games, because it's one of my favorite systems of all time. Let's not take away that it's one of my favorite systems of all time. I just mean it didn't sell as well. But people sell broken jewel cases on eBay at high prices. It doesn't really, it's like when you're collecting the American run of the Sega Saturn and the connection with the jewel case, there's this funny like understanding that even if the case isn't completely there, you could still get a good penny. You can even get a good penny for just a disc of an American Sega Saturn game. So now, built to last. And now the funny part that I want to show you is this. This comes in every Sega Saturn cartridge, right? The foam. And you've probably seen these before because I think some other systems might have done them, But you'd open the cartridge and the foam would be, here, let me use a jewel. This jewel case is in great shape, believe it or not. This is Astral. This is Astral, right? But this foam would be like right here. See, like what did this really do? Did it really protect the CD, or are you supposed to like use it as a sponge? Like I was always like, oh, you could probably use it as a cleaning thing or something. But it protected the cases from breaking. Did it? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was all about the foam, and it's the foam's fault. So yeah, I want to show you guys something. It's gonna be hard to show you. Hold on. It's gonna be hard to show you. Hold on. I have a whole stack of games here. Let's see. Oh my god! I don't want them to fall. Don't want them to fall. Okay. I'm gonna try to do this. Okay. So I have a pretty strong collection of the Sega Saturn American run. I was lucky to have the Sega Saturn as a kid, and I have a ton of games that are amazing. And it's probably my favorite thing about my retro collection are my Sega Saturn games. The cover is wide, tall, it's easy to crack. Yeah. But yeah, let's go through some of these. Oh man, I don't want them to fall. Hold on. Whoa. Okay. Okay. I don't buy loose games. A case is a must for me. Yes, but Carvette, the argument here is that it's almost acceptable in the Sega Saturn collecting community if your jewel case is broken. Does that make sense? It doesn't work in other cases, obviously, but in the Sega Saturn's case, it kind of works. So we have a very, very rare US game, which I think becomes very Mysteria, which is a really, really good RPG. This is a very good one to have in your Sega Saturn collection, but they're not cheap. and it's a damn good game. Virtual Cop, of course, and I do have the light gun. I do have the light gun. One of my favorite racing games, and this jewel case is okay shape, is Sega Rally. Sega Rally is a wonderful game. Wonderful game. Hey Andy, do you have Croc for Saturn? I guess the first print of the game was glitched. You know what? I don't, Astral. That one is one I don't have, and that is one that I want. And I've seen it around, and it's pretty pricey. I have a glitch copy. It's the weirdest thing, man. That's awesome. You want to sell me the glitch copy? So here's one of my favorite games of all time, and you see I don't have the jewel case. I don't have the jewel case. It's Virtua Fighter 2, which is one of my favorite games of all time. Okay. This is a really good one to own. This is Daytona USA, but it's Daytona USA Champion Circuit Edition. So it's actually the updated, it had like kind of like, if you would think about this, it's like a DLC back in the day where they came out with one that had some newer maps, newer cars and stuff like that. So that one's a really good one in my opinion. This one's a crappy one. Own any sport retro video games except for a few. They're not great collectibles, especially anything that comes out annually so much. It did get rid of the Daytona song. You're right. Oh, that sucks. Here's one that's awesome. The jewel case isn't in great shape, but man, I'm so glad I own it. Street Fighter 2 Puzzle Fighter. So this is Puzzle Fighter 2 with the Street Fighter lore and everything. Really good one to own. Look at this cool. Look at this cool character picture of everybody. It's pretty neat. See how cool the Saturn is? Here's one I played a lot, actually. I played NFL Quarterback Club 97. That one was I'm a big sport gamer, and you know, back then I played this a lot. This game is okay. It wasn't a very good fighting game, but I'm not a big fan of. I think it's pronounced Criticom. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan. Here's the original Daytona USA in very good shape. Oh, no, the jewel case is broken. The jewel case is good. Here's the original Daytona. I mean, this has one of the greatest songs in the history of all video games. You're right. This stuff. Actually, Hyper 3D Pinball is a fantastic game, and it plays super well on a Sega Saturn Japanese controller. I recommend playing on the Japanese controller. Starfighter. You know, I have more. I only grabbed a pile of these, by the way. And I can't find my Panzer Dragoon, which I do own, and it's worrying me. Did someone come in and steal it? I don't know. All right, let me move on to the next pile. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Ooh. This one's really interesting. I saw this at a retro video game store. No, I don't remove labels. I just keep them as is. This is Space Hulk, which is just a weird title, so I had to buy it. I played it, and it's really weird. I don't know. It's okay. One of my favorite Saturn fighting games, Last Bronx, and I think this case is in excellent shape. Let's see. Woo! Whoa! Look at this. It's like great shape. Like you barely see these. Look at that. You barely see the inserts in such good shape. Oh, get $10 back. I wonder if this is still valid. Buy two. Who did that? Who did that? Vanilla, thank you so much, man. Wow, thank you for the 100 biddies, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I haven't had bits in a while. I really appreciate that. It feels good, man. Thank you so much, man. or lady. I forget. I'm sorry. Um, moving on. Soviet strike. This is just your typical 90s, like the Soviets versus America. This game is really rare and really cool. This is Quarterback Attack. It's a real like shot simulation. Like it's like it's like shot in real time. Mike Ditka's in it and all that. Oh God, he is a man. You're right. I think I know. Oh, okay. I remember now. Next up is Chen War. It's a good one. How could I not have this in my collection? It's Nights from Dreams. Nights into Dreams, sorry. Nights into Dreams, my friends. Nights into Dreams. Okay, next. This is a fun game. I will say this, that there comes a point in the game it starts to get repetitive and it drives me crazy, but Clockwork Knight is a great game. This actually is in great shape. This jewel case is excellent shape. Like, I could even... You hear that? That's a working jewel case. And then I have just this random virtual open tennis. I have more. I don't know where... I don't know where my Panzer Dragoon is. Like, that's not good, right? That's not good. All right. Moving on. There's this cartoon called High Score Girl, and there's this great scene, and I just wanted to show you. You guys can't hear it, but because there's something wrong on my desktop audio to OBS, but they played the Sega Saturn in this cartoon, and it's available on Netflix, and I recommend it highly. But I think it's just cool pop culture referencing Virtual Fighter in this awesome cartoon. And he goes into detail on the Sega Saturn and all about it and how it competed against Sony and stuff like that. They're really, in Japan, it was very successful, the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn in Japan was a very good machine. All right, well, any sealed games? I do not, believe it or not, have any sealed Sega Saturn games. No, I definitely don't. But that being said, sometimes it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, if you have a sealed Sega Saturn game, God bless you. If you don't, and you have like one of the ones that people sought out, like Shining Force 3 or 2 or whatever, I think it's 3, then, it's worth money even if it's not sealed. It's definitely worth money. The American ad for Sega Saturn was kind of weird. And it got a lot of slack because it didn't really make a lot of sense. But this was the American commercial and promo for the Sega Saturn. It didn't do... See, the problem is that they rushed it. And the thing was that it was just marketed terribly in America. And it's a shame because they kind of like gave up on it too soon. And then just decided like, we got to make the Dreamcast, which... In Dreamcast's own right is an amazing system, but they gave up on the Saturn a little bit too soon, which is really, really sad. And before we kind of get to the end of the show, I have to give props to one of the greatest promotional ad campaigns for a video game console. And in Japan, they had a guy named, wait, let me get it right. So I say his Segata Sashiro, which you see here. This is Segata Sashiro. And he was a character made for the ad campaign for Sega Saturn. And he was just this like cool karate guy that would like, what's up, Biff? Good to see you, man. Yeah, well, you made it to the end, but Segata Sashiro, that's like the song. It's like Segata Sashiro. But this guy was amazing. These commercials were ahead of their time. And even in, the American Genesis ad campaigns were amazing. And in Japan, the Saturn campaigns were amazing. I mean, this guy is a legend if you know him. And it sounds like Segata knows him. I mean, I'm sorry, Astral, you know Segata Sashiro. He's incredible. He's an incredible human being. He saves lives. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. He kicks a baseball with his foot. Here it is. This is how we're going to end. Look at this. This guy is a legend. Who else can do that? I mean, come on. He's a legend in Japan. Saturn literally beating the competition. Yeah, the thing is that the Japanese Saturn collection is huge. It's so big. But look at I give Sega credit, or Sega of Japan, so much credit for these commercials. They're amazing. And America's ad campaign was a lady with like a Saturn thing around her head. People would flip their shit if they ran those ads now, beating up kids and get them to play. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that he beats up the kids. But okay, but you know, you would use him in a different way, in a better way. But he's a good guy. Okay. As we're nearing the end of the show, I like to find an article and go through the greatest Saturn games of all time according to thegamer.com, which I never heard of before this. Number 10, Silhouette Mirage, which is a beautiful game, and I actually was lucky enough to play it, but it's a game that not probably a lot of people have played before. House of the Dead, excellent game. I guess it deserves a 9. X-Men vs. Street Fighter absolutely deserves top 10 status. I don't know if it needs higher than that. Nights in the Dream, surprisingly, I thought this might be higher because it was kind of like a breakthrough game, but okay. Burning Rangers, really expensive game to find, but an excellent, beautiful game. Guardian Heroes, another expensive game to find in the US version, at least. But wow, very expensive. Guardian Heroes, awesome game. Panzer Dragoon 2, very, very good game. Probably can get one for $60 to $70 today. Astral, which I have, is a great side scroller. Number 3, I agree. Number 2, Radiant Silvergun. Yes. But I don't own it. Number 1, Daytona USA. I would say that's probably accurate. And don't forget, Daytona USA was very popular in what's it called, in the arcades, especially the arcades in Japan. And I even remember playing Daytona USA in the arcade. But you know, I'm also a lot older than everybody. No, that's not true. People are older than me. We already talked about Action Replay. I wonder what I was going to talk. Oh yeah. So we are giving a game away. Oh, I did want to show one more thing before we call this a show. I have a mini Sega Saturn model kit. I thought it was really neat. I'm kind of like, I don't want to open it. Oh wait, let me show you. It's like a mini Sega Saturn. This is like a model kit from Japan. I thought this was really neat. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed talking about Sega Saturn with me. I could talk about Sega Saturn all day long. You know, I don't need a podcast to talk about Sega Saturn. But I do have a game to give away, and you guys are going to hate me or love me. But the game today is the one and only beautiful fantasy game, Fantasy Blacksmith. So you have a chance of winning Fantasy Blacksmith today. I know how much you sit at home and you're like, oh, screw Cyberpunk. I can't wait to play Fantasy Blacksmith. You know, Andy's giving me a chance to win it. I can't believe this. Can I get some emojis in chat if you want to win? You want to win this. If you want Fantasy Blacksmith, let me see some emojis in chat. And I can't wait to give it away. Oh, I just got a TikTok ad, even though I was just on it. Oh, thanks so much. Who just followed me? Max, thanks so much, Max. Thanks so much. All right. Well, you guys want Fantasy Blacksmith? I'm going to give you Fantasy Blacksmith. I don't have Stream Racer today, so all I'm going to do is pick a number between 1 and 30. No, that's too broad. I'm going to make this really easy today. How about 1 and 20? Just put the number in chat, and if you get the number first, you win this game. You win this marvelous game. Just put a number in chat between 1 and 20. Oh my God, Biff, that's the number. God damn it. Biff wins! Fantasy Blacksmith, give a hand to Biff. First guess, 17 was my lucky number. I picked my lucky number. Give it to Biff. Biff, tell us how much you are excited for Fantasy Blacksmith. We need to hear in chat. Everyone wants to know. Like, think about a report after a game when you come up to the player right when they got off the field and they won the game. Imagine I'm interviewing you and said, Biff, what's next for you in Fantasy Blacksmith? Tell the chat. Please. Please tell us. While we wait for Biff's response, I want to thank everyone so much for joining today on the podcast. It's been fantastic. Okay, Biff has talked, everybody. I am going to forge a weapon, so I am going to Disney World. Okay, so you're going to Disney World? All right, let's give it up for Biff. I want to thank TikTok. Sorry I wasn't paying attention to you guys so much. But remember, everybody, I'm Andy. I'm here every Saturday. We're going to be back next week after COVID. Right? We're going to be back next week. Let me think. We're going to probably raid my good buddy. Oh, no, we're going to raid Pau. Oh, that's awesome that she's on. I'm going to raid her. I never raid her. Pau is a really good friend of mine. She's a really cool actress and streamer. We're gonna raid her today. So give her love. She was actually supposed to come on the podcast, so hopefully we could set that up and do that. But I want to thank everyone for stopping by today. Thank you so much. If you guys want to reach out to me, you want to let me know any topics you might be interested in me covering, I'm happy to do so. We've talked about a lot already on my show, and like I said in January, stay tuned for some awesome guests and some awesome interviews. And if you want to follow me, just check me out on Twitter at ProducerBTW. Check me out on TikTok at CafeBTW. And check me out on Instagram, I guess, as ProducerBTW. But more importantly, we're here. We're doing the podcast here, and that's Love Retro BTW. So thank you so much, TikTok, for hanging out with me while I did this. And thank you, stream. Thank you so much. Let's raid Pau. So 1 second, /raid. It was a takes on Saturn. All right, so let's raid Pau. Let's give her some love. She's a good friend of mine. Give her some love, everybody. Thank you so much. See you next week. Love you all. Bye.